What is going on, everybody? This is Mike from The Last Corvette. Today is Tuesday. Back to work, back to the grind. I'm actually off work now, had a meeting, and now I'm driving home to pick up my kid. But here's the deal. As I was posting these videos, I forgot one key point that I was trying to make, and actually it's just a lesson in life, period, right? You learn as you go, but also it's important to make connections, keep connections, because you never know, especially if you're dealing with cars, when you're going to need that special part, that one-off detail or whatever made. So for me, kind of like anything else in life happens just out of the blue. Before I even touched a single bolt on my driver's seat, which was the first seat that I did, I found out that my driver's side rear recline bezel, which I never use, I never even look at, was cracked. So I said, you know, if I'm going to redo my seats, I might as well replace the bezels. That's when I found out that, it's really hard to get the OEM bezels unless you get them used, and most of them are kind of cracked anyway. And then I did more research and found out that C5 and C6 bezels are identical. C4s are different, they use screws, and obviously C7 and C8s are totally different animals anyway. So I went on eBay and I found a seller or a eBay store that goes by the name of Gnarly Performance, gnarly_performance. I will add a link in the description if you guys want to check his store out. He sells all kinds of different components, not just for Corvettes. He also makes them. He has a 3D printer, which helps a lot, right? So he creates a model. So if you have something, either a print, or you can send them a like the original, and then he can recreate it. But here's the cool part. So the original set that I bought, I'm sure I brought this up in my previous videos as well, was a aftermarket bezel set. I bought two for like just over $30 with taxes shipped to my house. But they were to the OEM spec, meaning that they were dimensionally, they were just like the OEM bezels. The only difference was I had the Corvette basically machined or printed into the bezel. And you can actually have anything in the bezel. You can say Corvette, you can have Chevy Power, Last Corvette, whatever you want, your name or nothing. So when I got the first set, I showed it to you guys. It sat on the shelf. Then when I was ready to install it, well, I made a oopsie and I overcut the leather where this bezel goes. So I reached out to Gnarly Performance and I said, is there any way you can make these custom, make them slightly oversized? And he said, yes. That's when he explained that he actually makes them. I said, awesome. I gave him the dimensions. And if you look at his current eBay store, you will see that he actually sells two variants now: the stock dimensions and my dimensions, for somebody that wants either a little bit more surface, if you want to embed a certain name or a certain design into it, or if you do a upholstery job and you overcut your leather slightly. But anyway, so when I reached out to him, I gave him the dimensions. He said, not a problem. I'm going to make them and I'm going to do them for free, and I'm going to ship them out in a couple of days. And sure enough, in 2-3 days, he sends me an email with UPS or USPS, tracking number. He goes, they're on the way. When I got the second set, I already had the driver's seat back in the vehicle, okay? And I test fitted the bezel. And when it comes to dimensions, it was spot on. It was covering all my imperfections on the driver's seat. Even though I knew the passenger seat, like I showed you guys, wouldn't be a problem. Lessons learned. But one thing that I found out is his mix, or the material that he was using, was too brittle. It was almost like glass. So when I tried to snap in the first bezel, just the first one, it actually cracked. So you have a couple of things going on. If you look at your original recline bezel, it's actually concave, and they don't come like that from the manufacturer. They're actually flat and square, but over time, because it does snap into the base of the seat, there are a couple of tabs. Over time, it'll basically form this radius. And anyway, so I reached out to him again and I said, listen, the material that you're using is not pliable, it's too rigid, and when I tried to snap the bezel into place, it actually created a hairline crack. So once again, without even saying a word, he said, you know what, I have this other compound that I used in the past. It's more pliable. Let me make another set for you for free once again, which is crazy, right? The first time I paid him $30, just like the listing. The second time he could have said, you overcut, it's your fault. The third time he could have said something else, but it was his own research and development. He wanted to make it right, not only for the future customers, but for me. So a couple of days later, again, I get an email and he said, I tried this different compound. It's much more softer. It's pliable, it has flex to it. He goes, I tried it out, and he goes, I'm going to ship it out. So once again, tracking number included. And now the third set is what I actually have installed, what you guys see in the videos. Pliable, so you can, the trick with those bezels, like I said, regardless if you're replacing one or if you're replacing the skin seats, you're gonna have to bring the slot in where the lever slides in horizontal, fit it over the little knob, then rotate it 90 degrees, and then snap it into place. So not only is it pliable this way where you can push on it, form it, turn it, but then also the tabs locked in, and I don't see any issues going forward. So now on his eBay page, like I said in the beginning of the video, he has a different compound that he uses, so the softer pliable material, for one. For two, you have options. You can use and just go with a OEM spec, dimensions, length, and width, but you can also now get the same bezels that I have that are longer and wider, not by much, slightly. So like I said, if you want to add some custom design, he can do those things for you, and on top of it, he can do more. So, you know, I sent him pictures of the bezel installed on my seat, and we just started kind of just emailing back and forth, and he started watching my YouTube videos, my TikToks, and he says, you know, some cool content. I appreciate all the basically work that we did together to make these bezels. And obviously my hat goes off to this guy. I don't know him personally, but just through the email. And then he's a car guy as well. He has a C5 Corvette. We started talking about flex fuel and all that stuff. And all of a sudden he said, listen, I got this part that I've been making and selling to performance shops that fits over your Fast 102 intake. I'm going to show you guys what that is when it comes in. But he sells it as well. And it's basically just a much better fit, because Fast as a company, Fast 102 intake manifolds are great. You know, I'm not gonna bullshit. It's a much better flowing intake than stock, especially from that era. But all other products and hardware kits and all that, it's not so great, and everybody knows it, like their injectors and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's all about making a connection. It's all about just, you know, finding the right people. And now in the future, if I need a custom part made, like I said, either for a C6 or a different vehicle, if I have the original, if I know the dimensions, I can email him. He can 3D print any detail, really, any piece, and have it delivered to my house, obviously for a fee. He's not going to do that free thing for forever, but I'm definitely going to put out a plug, gnarly_performance on eBay. Look him up, check out his page. If you want something custom done, email him right through eBay. And he's a great person for sure. You know, normally sellers, they don't care. If something breaks, something, you overcut something, well, guess what, you're paying, and I was willing to pay. That's the thing. I never wanted to, wanted a free ride. So anyway, gnarly performance, lessons learned. Obviously, don't overcut your leather skins, but the passenger side looks great, so does the driver's side, and I'll talk to you guys later.